Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Repeat Ron, and today we're going to be doing another tier list for Killing Floor 2. This time we're going to be taking a look at all the maps again, and I'm going to be ranking them based on how much I like them. And first up we got Ashford Asylum, and I really like Ashford Asylum. It is really nice to actually play on. You can maneuver around it really easily, and it has some really creepy aspects to it where you hear like the ghosts, you see like shadow people. You can hear like children laughing. You can hear weird noises in certain areas of it. It's really cool. I really like it. And like, it's actually a pretty good map to be playing on. It's never really frustrating to play on Ashwood, I would say. So I'd put this one up into S tier in terms of just how much I like it. Up next, we got Airship. And Airship is pretty cool too. I like the location. I like the steampunk vibe of it. I really like the announcer at Airship. He is rather entertaining. There is a couple areas in Airship that I don't like, though. It's mostly under deck, where you're trying to go through different areas, and a lot of them just get, like, real condensed. And for that, I think I'd put Airship into A tier. It's still really good. I still really like it, but it has some problems for me. And then we got Biotic Slab. Biotic Slab is just kind of okay, in my opinion. I mean, the big grinder in the back is pretty cool, and there is some creepy stuff kind of going on where you see like the Zeds being experimented on and other things like that, but for the most part it seems kind of okay. So I think I'd put this one probably into like B tier. I don't really have a problem with it, but I don't really love it either. Parts of Black Forest I really like. I like the waterfall, I like the train carts, I like how abandoned everything looks, but I actually don't really care to play on Black Forest all that often. It's not terrible to actually like move around in. There is a couple spots that you can sit that are okay. You got that little hill by the train carts, or you got up above the water wheel. But for the most part, I don't really care for it all that much. I think I'd put it into C tier. I think it's okay for me. Then we got Burning Paris. I'd say I like Burning Paris for the most part. It's got variety in it. You can see the burning Eiffel Tower in the back, which is pretty cool. And not saying I want to see the Eiffel Tower burn, but seeing the Eiffel Tower is pretty cool. And the modern location is pretty awesome. I like it, so I think Burning Paris I'd put up into lower A tier. And then we got Catacombs, which Catacombs actually kind of looks cool. I really like certain parts of Catacombs. There's other parts that I don't really care for, like the weird sewer section that's being flooded into the Catacombs. That seems a bit odd. It's mostly like the main area that I think is really cool, where you can kind of see daylight, you can still see all the skulls, there's all of the like the skull artwork, the bone artwork, I guess, that you see just all around it. That is pretty cool, but the rest of it, and actually playing on it, sucks. It's one of like the worst maps to play on. So I'd still probably put this into D tier, but on the higher side of D tier. Next up, we got Containment Station. And I really like playing on Containment Station. It is a really good map to be playing on because it's just essentially two hallways that you gotta guard, with some enemies maybe spilling into the middle. I like the main room that you usually hold out in, where you got the big turban in the middle. That's pretty cool. There is a couple other areas, like where you can see all the clones being made. I like that as well. And I think I like Containment Station overall. I'd probably put this one also into A tier. Then we got Dissector. I like the idea of Dissector. I think it's really cool that there's like all the traps you can activate, all the like the neon lights everywhere, that it's only set up for the endless mode, so it is a little bit unique there. But the actual like playing Dissector kind of sucks. You just have areas that get closed off. You get areas that don't open right away, so you're limited to certain parts of the map. You're not really sure when these walls are going to come up, so it becomes very irritating to actually try to move around the map because they just keep blocking you. So I'd probably put Dissector still probably down into D tier, just because it is frustrating for me. Then we've got Extraction Point, which I'm okay with Extraction Point. I don't think it's anything super special, but I don't hate it either, so I'd probably put this one into C tier. Then we got the Farmhouse. The Farmhouse is kind of cool. It's creepy. I like the dummies laying around it. I like the openness of it. I like being able to run through the front yard. Inside the house is pretty good, and the barn is pretty good. It really fills the role of like a classic farmhouse in the woods in a horror movie, so I'd probably put this one into B tier. Then we got Hellmark Station. I really like the look of Hellmark Station. It looks really cool, unless you get a little bit too much neon going on, like if you have your vibrance turned up, or if you're using the skill parry, which turns your vibrance up, then it gets a little bit too much red and orange and pinks. And it's kind of difficult to see, but if you're just looking at it normally, I like it. I think it looks cool, and I'd probably put this one up into A tier as well. I like certain aspects of Hostile Grounds. I like the artwork underneath the city, and the city itself is kind of cool, where you get to see like the town park. You get to see, I think there's like a mayor's office or capitol or something in the background in one area. You get to see all like the storefronts. That's kind of interesting. But overall, it's probably not one of my most favorites to play. I think it's just alright, and I'd put it into B tier. Infernal Realm's okay to me, too. I like some of the areas, especially when you go out and you can really see out and look everywhere, where you just see, like, massive expanses of just, I don't even know what's going on. You got kind of steampunk stuff going on. You got gothic stuff going on. That middle area with all the bodies hanging from the ceiling is very creepy and kind of cool to see that. So I think I'd put this one, another probably B tier map in my opinion. Krampus Layer is definitely one of my favorite maps. I love the music that comes along with it. I love all of the creepy Christmas stuff that you see with the elves being slaughtered. There's the snow globes all over the place. You get different weapons just laying around all the place. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I would put this one definitely up into S tier. Right now it's at the top because I especially like the last area too, where it looks like you're in the snow globe. Lockdown has some cool areas in it, but overall I don't really care to play on it all that much, and there's nothing really going on outside. It's just you're in space on this containment station, I guess, and like there's interesting stuff inside the containment station, but that's about it. So I'd probably put this one in like C tier. Then we've got Monster Ball. Monster Ball is another one of my favorite ones. It's got DJ Hans, it's got the rave areas, it's got like kind of gory and bloody stuff going on with it, but it's still got so much cool festive stuff like the cakes, the balloons you can pop. You got like the Cthulhu statues outside and stuff. This one's probably going to go into S tier too. Nightmare, which Nightmare I like too. Nightmare looks really good. A lot of the areas are very creepy. You got the crematorium, the spider's lair, the cabin in the woods at the start. You have the, I'm assuming John Carpenter's The Thing inspired boss fight, which looks really cool. So I like a lot of aspects about Nightmare, and I think I'd actually probably put it up into A tier just because of that. Even though it's not an easy map to play on, nor is it always a fun map to play on, depending on which area you get. Like the war zone can kind of suck in it, and same with the carnival and the crematorium can all kind of suck. But I still really love the vibes of all of it. I really like to play on Nuked, but Nuked is not super visually interesting, I would say. It's a bombed out city, which is, you know, kind of cool, but it looks like it could be in pretty much any other game, whether it be post-apocalyptic or war or anything like that. So I think I'll put it into B tier. I still really like to play on it, and it's probably one of my favorite maps to actually play on, but like visually, it's just kind of okay. So I think that's why I'll put it into B tier. I'll probably put it on like the high end of B tier. Then we've got Outpost. I like that we get a snow map that actually has like a research facility to it. We've got a bunch of interesting things going on the inside. We've got some vehicles outside. We've got like the big arrays outside. It's kind of cool, but it's not really one of my favorite maps to play on. I'd probably put it up into B tier next to Nuked. Then we've got Power Core. Again, a pretty visually cool looking map. I like a lot of the areas in Power Core where it looks like you're in some sort of giant generator, or maybe not generator, but power plant of some sort. And that's pretty interesting to me, but it is a pain to play on. So I think I'll put this one into like C tier. Biolapse, again, has some interesting areas. I like some of the areas in it, but for the most part, it's not one of my favorite maps. I think it's just kind of okay, and I'd probably also put it into C tier. Desolation is kind of just okay to me. I don't really feel much about it. There are some like kind of cool areas in it. I like the target range downstairs. I think that's kind of cool, but other than that, not a whole lot going on, I would say. So like bottom of C tier. And we've got Elysium. Elysium is another map that has some really cool areas in it. I like the main area. I like the forest. I like the desert place. Like those are really cool. But then some of the other areas I don't care for at all. The Metal Gear Solid map is just kind of okay. I don't hate it, but it's fine. The black hole area where things spawn slowly is really just annoying to me. I don't like it. And like the poison area is super annoying to be in. The goo area, whatever the heck that is. Green toxic sludge. I don't like that one at all. The two areas that you can unlock though, I do like. The botanical garden is pretty interesting. And same with the, I don't remember what the other one is called, the sanctuary or whatever. I do kind of like those. So I think I'd put Elysium probably like in B tier, because I feel like half the maps I like, half the maps I don't like in it. Then we've got Santa's Workshop, which is probably one of my favorite maps just in terms of looks. I love the heck out of Santa's Workshop. It's probably my favorite in terms of looks. However, it's not really the most fun to play, or it has trouble being like the most fun map to play because it is objective based. And if your team isn't playing the objectives, then it becomes very difficult and can be very frustrating. But I'd still probably put this one way up into S tier. It is so good looking, I would say. Shopping Spree just looks kind of like a regular mall to me, which I don't hate malls, but I don't really go to them, so I guess B tier. Spillway is a really good map to run around on, and I do like it for the most part because you can kind of see everything. I like the inside of the factory, and the outside is perfectly fine too. I like that you're kind of near either a dam or by the shore or something. So I'd probably put this one up into A tier. Then we've got Steam Fortress, which Steam Fortress is definitely going to go up into S tier. It just looks so cool. I like the steampunk aspect of it. I like how it loops around. It looks super beautiful if you look outside of the map. And it has just very interesting things going on. So yeah, easy S tier there. Then we've got the Descent, which the Descent has, again, some cool maps in it. I like some of them. But for the most part, I don't really like most of the maps. They're not that good. They're not really that fun to play on. They're difficult. And there's oftentimes not a whole lot going on. Like when you're outside of the Descent, at the first level, not really much going on. Not a whole lot going down in the boss layer. Some of the boards are just kind of okay. So I'm going to put that one into D tier. It's probably one of my least favorite maps. I really like Tragic Kingdom. It looks cool. I like it better once you turn on the power and you can play all the games. You can turn on all the machines. You can do a whole bunch of just extra fun stuff, which I think probably puts this one into S tier too, at least at the bottom end of S tier, just because like it offers so much more stuff that you can do once you have the power on. Without the power on, it still looks really cool. It's still a, haunted theme park, which, I mean, I'm all for. But once you have the power turned on, then you get to play with all the electronics and everything. Then we got Voltaire Manor, which I don't really care for Voltaire Manor all that much. It's got some interesting areas, and I think it's okay, but a lot of it is really frustrating to move through, so I'd also probably put Voltaire Manor somewhere down into D tier. Then we got Zed Landing, an island with a volcano full of Zeds. I like it. I think it's cool. Probably not one of my most favorites, but definitely like high A tier, easily. Then we have Sanitarium, which this one is probably S tier too. I just love everything in Sanitarium. It looks so cool. You get to see like Cthulhu in the background. You get to see all the ritual stuff going on. You get to see all of the creepy things like in the lower levels, the maze in the front, the lighthouse on the side. There's just so much cool stuff to look at. Even though Sanitarium is not by any means the easiest map to play on. It's probably one of the most difficult maps to play on. But it's still one of the coolest looking in my opinion. Then we have Prison. Which Prison is one of the easiest maps to win on just because you have the watchtower there that you can really just cheese every wave with except for boss wave. But actually like running through the prison, it's kind of creepy. I do kind of like it, but I'd probably put this one into like B tier as well. Then we've got the new Moon Base, which I'm okay with Moon Base. I honestly don't think it's the most impressive like space map I've seen because I've played so many of the custom maps and they've been better than this one. I still think it's visually interesting. I still like it overall, but I'm probably just going to put this one into B tier. I think it's okay. Dystopia 2029, again, just kind of another okay map. I kind of like the steampunk aspect of it until you really start looking at other things around the map where it's like they have modern cars and stuff. And it's just like, okay, this doesn't really look way different than other like slightly custom / steampunk / cyberpunk inspired maps that I've played before. So it's another just kind of okay map. I'd put it into B tier. And then we've got Netherhold, the new map. I like aspects of Netherhold. I like that you can actually have weapons that spawn in that are higher rarity than normal. So you're not only limited to just tier 1 weapons. You can find tier 2 and tier 3 weapons. That is a good addition, which I don't see why they don't just have those spawn in maybe as like really rare drops. Or maybe spawn in later waves in just all the maps. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I like that, but you do have to unlock all that. Most of the stuff is kind of hidden. You might not find it, and this map kind of sucks to just move around in. So I'd probably put Netherhold down into D tier as well. Definitely not one of my favorite maps to play on, but I do like some of the ideas that are used in it. I like the idea of expanding the actual map itself to find treasures, and I like the fact that treasures are better in this than they are in other maps. But I mean, if you had that in other maps, maybe just 1 or 2 areas that were hidden, that or were only accessible once you got to a certain wave or something, and then could potentially give you good stuff on pretty much all the maps, I would really enjoy that. So this is my full list of maps in Killing Floor 2 based on just how much I like them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Tell me what your favorite maps are down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Special thanks to my members over here on YouTube and my patrons over on Patreon. These are all my supporters. If you would like to be a part of that, there are links down in the description where you guys can go off and support the channel if you would like. You get early access to videos like this. And if you'd like to see more of my Killing Floor stuff, click over here. That'll take you to a full playlist of them. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.